In a world where social media can turn ordinary people into overnight heroes, one man captured the nation's attention with a promise of generosity and hope. He called himself Francis Leo Marcos, a self-proclaimed philanthropist, a man who dared to challenge the rich to help the poor. But behind the charm, the viral videos, and the Mayaman challenge, questions began to rise. Who was he, really? A modern-day hero or a master of illusion? This is the story of Francis Leo Marcos, also known as Norman Mangusin, a man whose rise to fame would soon spiral into controversy, deceit, and criminal allegations. You're listening to Pinoy True Crime Story, where we uncover the most shocking and unforgettable real-life cases in the Philippines. Some people rise overnight. Some build slowly. And some exist in the gray, where fact meets fiction, where influence is power, and where truth is hard to pin down. This is the story of Francis Leo Marcos, also known as Norman Mangusin, a man who claimed to be a benefactor, a viral social media personality, and a thorn in the side of skeptics. He was born Norman Mangusin on September 29, 1979, but over time, he began to call himself Francis Leo Marcos, a name that carried weight, connection, and controversy. That name change would become an early tension line. Who was he really? Was he a sincere philanthropist or a social media illusion? He claimed that, at age 17, he discovered a family connection to the Marcos political dynasty. He told stories of a mother who revealed hidden roots, but Imelda Marcos and her family publicly denied any relation. The tension between his claims and their denials became part of his identity, a man walking in the shadow of a name he hoped would carry him. In the early 2020s, as the pandemic reshaped life, Francis Leo Marcos entered the spotlight through a viral social media move. He started the Mayaman Challenge, urging wealthy neighbors to donate to those suffering under the strict quarantines. The video went viral, drew millions of views before being taken down. The challenge, as he framed it, was more than charity. It was a performance, a public dare, a brand. But with visibility came scrutiny. Skeptics asked, where did the funding come from? Were the donations real? Who audited them? Over time, multiple complaints accumulated. Estafa, fraud, identity concealment, violations of optometry law, alias misuse, even inciting hatred or sedition. The NBI began probing. In May 2020, law enforcement moved. The National Bureau of Investigation, NBI, arrested Marcos in Quezon City, based on a Baguio court's warrant accusing him of violating the optometry law, specifically distributing eyeglasses without proper authorization under RA 8050. The symbolic weight was heavy. A man styling himself as a benefactor, now accused of breaking medical law. At arrest, officials said they were also verifying if he held different passports, Norman Mangusin, Francis Marcos, and whether he held a judicial name change. They saw several open cases, including estafa and violence against women, from Gapan, Nueva Ecija. Marcos denied wrongdoing. He said his Optimum Eye Care program helped poor Filipinos across Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, that he was just giving free eyeglasses and checkups. He claimed the cases were politically motivated. As cameras flashed, he insisted he had done nothing illegal. But the waves kept coming. Complaints of estafa multiplied. People who claimed they had given money or supported his foundation said funds were unaccounted. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, flagged companies bearing the names FLM Family Club, Filipino Family Club International, possibly soliciting donations without proper registration. Legal filings piled up. Identity concealment, using different names and passports, added complexity. Some wondered if the alias was a shield. Meanwhile, he mounted political ambitions, filing to run for Senate. But election authorities raised objections, calling him a nuisance candidate because they questioned his genuine intent. In 2025, the Supreme Court intervened. After the Commission on Elections, COMELEC, attempted to disqualify him by labeling him a nuisance candidate, the SC issued a temporary restraining order, TRO, halting the disqualification and forcing COMELEC to include him in ballots for now. Yet, on January 23, 2025, Marcos withdrew from the Senate race. He cited concern over government costs, saying that ballot reprinting would cost millions, and he did not want to burden the state. His move drew both praise and criticism. Was it noble or tactical? Through it all, public opinion crackled. To supporters, he was a hero, someone using social media to help poor people directly. To critics, he was a showman, a con man wearing the facade of generosity. Some looked at his foundation's accounts and saw holes. Others watched as the courts delayed, as petitions dragged, as evidence sometimes weak, sometimes unclear. In some corners, the identity question haunted the story. Was Norman Mangusin hiding behind the Marcos name to gain legitimacy? Or was his claim sincere, albeit unprovable? Document registries showed no solid proof of relation. The official Marcos family refuted any connection. The alias and name change battles became as symbolic as his alleged crimes. In 2020, the NBI asked new complaints: the anti-alias law, passport law violations, inciting sedition through viral videos. They alleged that his viral challenges, urging donations, challenging neighbors, could inflame public sentiment and target social class divisions. The optics became as important as the law. Yet even as allegations stacked, Marcos remained active. He kept posting videos. He spoke to media. He defended his actions. His supporters amplified his narrative. We do good. Critics just don't like our reach. In some viewership, philanthropy looked like a shield. In roads and courtrooms, he dragged each case. Some were dismissed or lacked probable cause. Some held. Some were deferred. In the public eye, his narratives shifted. Sometimes a victim, sometimes a challenger, sometimes an accused. Behind the scenes, those who donated, those who followed his videos, those who questioned, all were drawn into gray spaces. Did philanthropy justify questions? Did charity mask the need for accountability? Where does generosity end and liability begin? In May 2024, as the illegal detention and rape cases convened in various courts, many watched whether the legal machinery would catch up to social media spectacle. Would the courts delve deeper into financial audits, foundation records, identity proofs, donor ledgers? Or would the show of activism scatter like viral posts? Loud, viral, ephemeral. And in 2025, as Marcos tried to run for senator, his withdrawal was controversial. He cited noble reasons, but skeptics called it political theater. The SC's TRO had forced inclusion only for him to step back. Did he avoid risk, or did he play the system once more? Still, his name remains in headlines. His supporters defend him, his critics expose him. Courts still deliberate. Complaints wait for trial. Evidence is hashed and rehashed. The truth chases shadows. The story of Francis Leo Marcos, Norman Mangusin, is not a simple crime. It is a portrait of modern controversy, where charity is viral, accusations are public, and law struggles to keep pace with social media. It shows how influence can both empower and endanger, how a name can be weaponized, how the line between hero and fraud can blur in every like, share, and click. In the end, whether he is proved innocent or guilty, the case will tell something deeper about trust in social media philanthropists, about accountability in the digital age, and about how easily a claim, especially one made loud, can become a legal battleground. The name Francis Leo Marcos will go down as more than a viral face. It will remain a case study on power, perception, and the weight of reputation today. In the end, truth and illusion are separated not by what we see, but by what we choose to believe. Francis Leo Marcos, or Norman Mangusin, became a symbol of both generosity and deception, hope and distrust, a reminder that not all who speak of kindness are free from controversy. If there's one lesson to take from this story, it's this. In the age of social media, anyone can wear the mask of a savior. But behind that mask, intentions can twist, and followers can become victims. Stay vigilant, question everything, and never let fame blind you from the truth. This is Pinoy True Crime Story, uncovering the nation's darkest truths, one case at a time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping true crime stories from the Philippines.